Salutations everyone, this is Razor today bringing you guys an intense, in-depth analysis on Ana, her place in the meta, where she fits, and how best to play her. It's going to be a little different than a lot of my videos. I know it's very long, there's a lot to cover, so let me know if you guys like these more in-depth guide-like videos. Where today we're going to be focusing on Ana, who I think is, even before the buffs, you'll see most of this footage is before the buffs, but some of it after, and it goes from gold to plat to diamond, because this character helped me climb in a season that I was doing very, very poorly in, especially because of looking for a group really destroyed my SR. Now, Ana is a very good character, and I think she is highly undervalued and has been for quite some time, especially when you compare her to what all the other healers in the game can do. And I will show you a few key moments, quite a few key moments in all these games, where you just have to play things instinctual in order to get value out of Ana and what she can bring to the game. She's a lot more versatile than a lot of other characters. Than things you have to do automatically, like a Doomfist up in the air, that's an easy sleep dart, and then you anti him, he's not going to be able to get away. That should be like an automatic instinct. There's so many things about Ana that you should just do on instinct, not, you know, try to hit a dart on somebody in a certain place, or, you know, try to get a big nade. Like, that should be a giveaway right there. Hog's running away, and you see him pulling for take a breather. You anti-nade him, and he's useless. Ana's the only character in the game that can really shut down a character like Roadhog or Reaper, who have that self-healing and rely on it to be in the fight, and Ana can shut that down by herself and very easily. Now, this isn't to say that Mercy is a bad character. Some people are, you know, seeing that Mercy is falling off in the meta a little bit, and here's an instinctual thing of the Winston coming on the flank, and you gotta hit him with the dart. And then since the Hanzo's right here, I don't have to go for the Ana combo. I just go for something sweet, tried and true. And you have to be familiar with the Ana combo, especially on squishies or any low health targets. When you sleep dart somebody, you will shoot and reload cancel with your grenade throw, shoot again, and then melee. And that will finish off any squishy that you sleep dart in the game. Including a Tracer in some circumstances where, you know, she doesn't have her recall available to her. And that's just going to be easy money. They should be muscle memory things with Ana that you just do by nature. And a lot of Ana's value is in her positioning, in that she plays a lot more differently than your Lucios and your Mercies, and even your Zenyatas, which people are quite accustomed to. Gotta keep the Bastion up. I mean, we got our Mercy up in the sky, but we have the Bastion here to win the shield break battle. Hanzo trying to go on the flank. Bastion is vulnerable, and I have the dart for this occasion right here. That should be a guaranteed dart every single time the enemy Reinhardt charges in. There's so many things in Overwatch that you can count on, and one of the things is Reinhardt's over-aggressing. Now, I showed you a little bit on attack Rialto, but mostly I'm going to be using on defense, especially on maps like Hollywood and Blizzard World. I think she's amazing. Hanamura, as well as Volskaya. I think those are her best maps. And when used on the defense especially, is going to give you more value than any other healer in the game. Far as ulting, that's instinctively a dart. Yes, I do die, but I hit it, and because I hit it, our Mercy didn't die. She was one rocket away from being finished off, and because I got that dart, the Pharah didn't complete the ult, and Mercy's able to res me, so that's a +1 for us. They lost the Pharah, and we didn't lose anybody. We just lost some cooldowns, right? We lost the sleep dart, and we lost the res. But it allows us to continue the fight instead of being pushed back and have both of our healers gone. Both of our healers are up, and they, in a sense, didn't get much value out of their ultimate. Now, when I said about positioning earlier, super key, tried to hit the dart on the Reaper, but he bounced, so I hit the Hammond instead. And then I have to nano the Orisa right here, and I think this is the play of the game right here. Keeping the Orisa alive, putting all my value into Roadhog, and look how fast my ultimate is going to climb right here. Our Mercy is Valking, and I'm putting the rest of the tank health pool over the top, keeping everyone alive. They lose the Pharah. I get the big nade on our targets. I sleep the Hammond again, and thankfully the McCree gets the flashbang on the Reaper, and we're able to finish him off. Orisa gets her supercharger. I anti-nade the Reinhardt and get the dart on him, and Brigitte can't get away, all because of my ult. And if you saw right there, that was a 43 seconds to ult. Between my ultimates, it took 43 seconds because of my positioning, my the targets that I chose to heal, and a little bit of what the rest of my team was doing. Our Mercy was Valking, and I needed that McCree to hit that flashbang, otherwise that Reaper probably kills me. But when it comes to Ana, why so many people will not play her and why so many people will message me, don't be Ana, please don't be Ana, is because they're so used to how everyone else in matchmaking plays Ana. And how does that work out? Most people play Ana as Widowmaker that will accidentally heal sometimes and has her grenade. But that's not what Ana is. So many people play her like a sniper when she really isn't. She's a healer. If you would just play Ana and pretend that she's Mercy, then you'll see the value that you can get out of her, where you're just looking to heal targets. Because since Mercy doesn't add much value to the damage game by herself, she's going to be damage amping and healing almost exclusively. And if you treat your Ana that way, and if you're in the back making call-outs to Reapers that are trying to go on the flanks, you know, people won't always listen to you. And I didn't have my dart, but I had the anti-nade, so we're eventually going to kill the Reaper a little bit sooner than we would have previously. They do get a couple of key kills, but our Mercy, once again, is Valking, keeping the tanks up, so you can't understate the value of Mercy in the game. I think she is still the best character, especially in a good team that can peel and allow the Mercy to get value out of her res. But I found myself really struggling with Mercy, and when I switched to Ana on these few maps, almost always defending, I find myself getting much more value with the dart and the nade and the ability to heal more safely from range with Ana than I ever could as Mercy. Because when I'm Mercy, you rely more so on your teammates to do what they need to do, where Ana could just hit one big anti-nade there and win the fight out. Get the nano, and especially with that buff to nano that it can now heal your target, I don't have to worry about, all right, first I need to heal up my Reinhardt, then I nano him. I can nano him instantly to keep him up, and then top him off if I need any more healing after that, or, you know, whatever my target may be. Maybe it's a Winston, maybe it's a Roadhog, maybe it's an Orisa in that case. And here's my favorite place to play Ana, and that's defending on a Blizzard world throughout the entirety of the map. Especially with Reinhardt players being the way they are, A, being prevalent, and B, not being so smart, easily baited out of a lot of their aggressive options. It's really easy to make a Reinhardt make an aggressive move against you. That's why I've stated that Orisa is the better tank in matchmaking right now, because she's going to be in the fight a lot more, and she takes big advantage of over-aggressive Reins by just stopping them with her Fortify as they come charging in. As I hit the sleep dart in the previous game against that Reinhardt, that is something that should be automatic. Every single time a Reinhardt charges, and you can see them, obviously, maybe, you know, if you're coming back from spawn, you're not going to be able to dart him. But every single time a Rein charges and dart is off cooldown, which it should be the vast majority of the time, it's kind of like Zarya's projected bubble. Only use it when you need to. Otherwise, you're not going to get the value out of it that you should be. And Reinhardt's not going to get any value out of that charge. So many Reins want to be aggressive, especially if they have, like, you know, at least one good deep pocket in them. Reins are used to being so aggressive and being not punished for it. But what Ana does better than any other healer by far is punishing bad positioning and aggression. With the power of the sleep dart, maybe the Reinhardt or any character, let's say, is trying to go on a big flank. Sleep dart shuts that down. A Reaper coming in and you think he's gonna ult. Even if you don't have dart, as I did in that last game, you can nade him and he's not going to be able to get healing on hit during that Death Blossom, which was what makes it so powerful now. Before that buff to Reaper, not a lot of Reapers were finishing off their Death Blossom. And once again, I heard the Rein charge. Yes, my Rein and my Reaper were in my way, but I heard him charge and I knew to hit the dart. Even if your Reinhardt is also going for the charge to kind of neutralize that engagement, hitting the dart on them will put you in the advantageous position every single time. And if Honest can play back and kind of just focus only on healing until, you know, they need to hit a dart or a nade, then they're going to be living longer than a Mercy that's not getting supported, or, you know, a Zenyatta who, yes, is, you know, you could say just as diveable as Ana. You know, she has the dart and the nade to help her out a little bit, while Zen doesn't really have much of anything. And if Brigitte's shield is gone, she has nothing to contribute to that fight. Ana's, if you're playing at a safe distance with Ana, and if you have those nades and those darts to use at opportune times, you're going to be living longer than Mercy, and due to the fact that you're living longer, you're going to be in the fight longer, you're going to be healing more, you're going to be getting more ult charge, and you're going to give the enemy team a much rougher time than a Mercy that's just doing her job, right? Mercy's kind of limited in her role in the team, and that all she can do is heal, right? All she can do is put herself in a safe position and heal. Well, Ana is able to heal from a much safer distance, and she isn't as prone to getting instantly dove on. Ana is not good against dive. If they're running dive against Ana, she's very, very vulnerable. But in matchmaking where people don't peel for their healers, or anybody really, as I hit another dart on a soldier, who then gets pushed away by Brigitte because she wasn't playing properly. If you're doing that as Ana, then you're going to be getting more value than Mercy because people aren't peeling for their healers. Ana has the ability to heal herself, do some burst healing, and dart a flanker. Yes, you aren't going to hit most Tracers and a lot of Genjis, but you're able to constantly hit Hammonds, hit charging Reinhardts unless they're bubbled. But you're going to what the enemy team, what you're requiring the enemy team to do by playing a smart Ana is you're requiring them to have more coordination to beat you than if you were playing Mercy. And that's why, only on defense, mind you, for the vast majority of the time. Otherwise, I'll be playing Moira if it's like a 2 CP in many instances, or if we're on attack in a lot of cases, especially where it's going to be very close quarters. Moira is going to be your best bet, but if you're defending, especially on full payload and hybrid maps, I feel like Ana gives you the best chance at winning a consistent amount of games, because matchmaking with Mercy I've found personally be so difficult. She isn't my best hero, granted, but the value that I get out of Ana outvalues losing out on the Valkyrie sometimes and the Res the vast majority of the time, because the lack of communication and peeling on your own team, and the fact that Ana can capitalize more so when your enemy is making a mistake than if you were playing any other healer. Zen is really good. I've said that he's the most underrated character in the game because people don't see what he can do, and they don't give him credit for that. When people say, why we need more damage, we should be doing more damage, the answer isn't more DPS. It's usually focus fire, and no one's better at enabling your team to focus fire than putting a Discord alert on them. There was another Reinhardt charge. I darted that. That's just, it should be instinct. And Ana's ability to heal multiple targets, now that she can pierce with her healing through fully healed targets in big chokes like Hanamura and on Blizzard World, if you're playing the ground, or Volskaya, you're always going to be healing something, and if you're not healing something, your dart's going through them and damaging the enemy on the other side of the choke. And I think due to my smart positioning there and the amount of healing I'm able to pump out safely, we were able to hold that third point on Blizzard World, and we're able to take another one. Here's an instinctual thing. I saw my Reinhardt setting up at the very beginning for the pin, so I was like, I understand, no communication needed, and there wasn't any communication, as you're going to see in a lot of games. But I knew what the Reinhardt was doing, and when your Ana and or any healer is in sync with what your tanks are doing, you can enable them to do the job. I saw the position my Reinhardt was in. So I threw the nade. It's going to heal him from any damage that's hitting him in the back as he's charging, doing some damage to the enemy Reinhardt, as well as preventing any follow-up, because he did have the Harmony Orb on him, if you did see that. So it immediately stops their first push from happening. There is one downside to good Ana play, I will say, that you can't say about a lot of other characters, is when I'm playing very well with Ana, and this sometimes happens when I'm doing fairly well with Mercy, is that your team gets overconfident and they push too far. There, I saved the dart for the high noon. I just missed it. Poor aim. You know, that should be one of the easiest ultimates to sleep dart, since he has to stand still to do it. But our Lucio had my back and he was able to finish the job, and we held out a little bit longer than, say, if I was playing Mercy there, even though I'm missing out on the res. So here I'm showing out on Hanamura, which I think is her second best map at defending. It may even be her best, may even be better than Blizzard World. I just think I have more fun at Blizzard World. But what Ana allows you to do on the defense here is something that no other healer can do. Playing really, really safe. My team's getting a little over aggressive here, as I've said. That's something that happens quite a lot when I am Ana, especially if you nano boost a target. They feel like they need to be aggressive and go get some kills. Trust me, from an Ana player, I won't get upset if you get nanoed and then don't go popping off. The only time I will get upset when I nano you is if you die by doing something dumb, because there should be no reason you die. You're doing more damage, and there's less damage being done to you because you're being nanoed, and I'm probably healing you as well. And the other healer, hopefully there's another healer on my team, they might be doing so as well. But from this position, I can heal safely, heal multiple targets, hit my nades if both my tanks are in dire straits, or if there's a squishy that's about to die. I can cover the top that might have a Widowmaker grappling, or a Hanzo on the right, which we see so very often, or a Junkrat. I can scare them away, I can hit the dart, call it out, get the focus fire, and that's not something you can do with Mercy. It's not something you can do with Zen. It's not something you could do with Lucio or Brigitte, or, you know, any other character from the backline. No one can have that power to heal and suppress what sort of enemy attack that you have. It's always really annoying to fight an Ana that is constantly hitting you with sleep darts, and that's what you should be to the enemy team. But a lot of it has to do with positioning. One of the reasons so many people hate having Anas on the team, and why more people will tell me to switch when I'm Ana than when I'm, you know, Hanzo or Widowmaker or Symmetra, is because their experiences that they've had with Anas on their team in the past, and I can't blame them. I've never had a good Ana on my team from any level in the game. I think I've faced 2 good Anas in the past, but once again, much like really bad tank play, it comes from people not knowing how to use those characters, and people play Ana very incorrectly, incredibly consistently. So here I nano the Roadhog because he's the only one alive and he's on the point, and it allows me to heal him since he's not going to be able to get one shot from that Doomfist. And I'm able to keep him up. Our Ryan dies real quick, but the Hog is still alive, and that should be a guaranteed dart every time as well. Doomfist is going to land exactly the same every time he ults, and that should be a guaranteed dart, so he's not going to be able to either punch away, like sometimes they'll do, or punch to finish off the kill if they did not get the kill with their ultimate. That other one was just, you know, just honing in your skill shot. You don't need to be a really good skill shot in order to get a lot of value from Ana. Obviously, it does help, and I would not recommend to use Ana as your main healer if you are not good. And here, hit the dart on the Reinhardt, not just to put him down, but so I can anti-nading him. Anti-nading him was the most important thing I could have done on the point, because if he's not getting healed, then they have no time for any of their other teammates to get onto the point and to keep that overtime wick burning, and there was just the wrecking ball left, and we're able to finish that off, and I don't think that would have been possible if I were not Ana. And here I am defending on Junkertown. Once again, a long line of sight where your opponent's going to have a few more angles from attack than they would on Hanamura or Volskaya, but most people are going to be slow moving and on the ground, and you're going to want to keep that shield tank of yours up, as well as being able to call out any other positional changes from the back line, which is where Ana thrives from. So many people play too close to their tank like they would with a Brigitte or a Moira or a Lucio. You need to treat Ana as you would a Mercy but you can do so from a much safer distance. You know, Mercy has quite the range on her healing beam, but Ana can heal from anywhere as long as she has line of sight. And, you know, people aren't used to Ana's having a very good consistent aim. Therefore, they're not getting a lot of heals out of their Ana. And while I think Ana can main heal, I think, and this isn't just with Ana, but I think the best healing duo in matchmaking for the bottom 99% of us, you know, diamond and below, is double main healer. I think if you're running double main healer, you're going to have a lot more consistent success running Mercy Ana than Mercy Zen in a lot of circumstances. Sometimes maybe you want that transcendence depending on the map or the point in the map that you might be. But running Moira Mercy, I've done a lot. Running Moira Ana, I'm doing here. Before I was doing Ana Mercy. And that amount of healing is too difficult for an uncoordinated team to get through, especially since the Mercy's going to be flying around. Maybe she's with a pharmacy, maybe she's just with your main tank, but she's obviously going to be the first person that's protected, and that's fine since you can play much further back from Ana. See what a safe position I am going to be throughout this entire Streets phase. And we hold him here for like 3 minutes, which enables us to eventually have much more time to grab the third point, where we hold them at the third point because they wasted so much time in Streets phase. And I think a lot of it due to my safe positioning of Ana here. We're able to mitigate any sort of damage that this Valking Mercy is doing. I'm keeping my tanks up, and we also have our Moira doing her job as well. And we have a Hanzo and a McCree that will, you know, a blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while. And that includes your matchmaking Hanzos, less so your McCrees, because they rely a little bit less on spam and more on aim. But regardless, your teammates are going to do the right thing sometimes, even if it is accidentally. And Ana can prop them up more so to do that than Mercy, because all Mercy can do is damage boost and heal and res, right? She's a little bit more easily picked off if she doesn't have somewhere to fly to. Whereas one of the things that I found early on with Ana was just one small thing that helped me live a lot longer and do my job more often is don't be afraid to just nade yourself. Don't be afraid to self-peel with your grenade. Don't feel like you have to shoot a big anti-nade on the enemy or throw a big nade on multiple targets on your own team. If you're getting flanked by a tracer, sometimes the right call is dart her. If you hit, then you can heal yourself and run away, get around a corner. Hopefully a teammate will come to your aid and at least scare her off. That's a win. If you can scare the Tracer or the Genji off by darting them or nading yourself, making the engagement last too long for them to be comfortable, either it's because their cooldowns are off and they want to get out of there so their cooldowns are back or what have you, is you're going to be living a lot longer than if you're Zen, where you're going to have to get a discorded headshot on somebody. And there, I missed nanoing the Reinhardt and I accidentally nanoed our Moira who was antied. So we didn't hold Streets there, but we held for like 3 minutes, so it enabled us to win because they didn't finish the third point, and we had so much of a easier time on Streets that we were able to breeze through. And here on Hanamura, I'm always going to be picking Ana more than Mercy just because of the power of her burst healing. Yet Moira is really good at burst healing. Obviously, if you have multiple tanks, if you're running Rein Zarya or Orisa Hog, Moira's going to get a ton of healing, right? She's going to be able to out-heal the best of the Mercies out there. But, you know, while Ana can't do the raw amount of healing, her burst healing is unrivaled, especially now with the new change to her nano boost, which you will see me use to perfection here in just a few seconds. As I'm keeping the Reinhardt up, he isn't dead yet, so they can't push in till much later. My team thankfully repositions, swings around back to the point, and our Reinhardt is able to get the pin, and the Zarya is able to finish off the D.Va, so that stops the entire fight, and I think a lot of that was me keeping the Reinhardt up. So it's all about winning individual fights, and you know, you don't have to win every single fight. Most of the time people are going to take this first point, but in that second point she's going to have a much even longer, much safer line of sight, and if they're trying to rush in, they're going to have to avoid my dart or they're going to get eaten up every time. And thankfully, you know, we have a Moira, so she's able to keep my tanks up longer than a Lucio or a Zenyatta would. You know, Brigitte obviously is going to have a lot of luck on the close quarter battles where people are going to be sticking to their brawl heavy characters, but I feel like Ana is more complementary to more tanks than Mercy can be in a lot of instances, especially if you are not running the right tanks for the right situation. So hammer down, instinctively I throw the anti-nade so that we guaranteed get the right follow-up on that ultimate, and then thankfully with the Moira I'm able to heal both of our tanks up again, and boom, that's another fight won. And I was in no danger. If I'm a Mercy there, I have to play a little bit closer to the Ryan. Maybe I can still be inside, but if the Genji comes through the top, or Junkrat is able to get a concussion nade on me, separate, and then kill my tank, I can't do anything with that as Mercy. But with Ana, I can stay a little bit back, and if I get hit by like a concussive mine, I can heal myself, get away, reposition, and keep my tanks up longer than a Mercy would. And here, our Moira's trying their best. They're pushing in. They've broken through their choke. Our Ryan doesn't have a shield. We've thankfully repositioned to the point, and here I know I have a pretty good chance at dying. Here I recognize Zarya's high charge, low health, instant nano. And I think that was the key move right there. I hit the nano on the Zarya, so I don't have to worry about her. I dart the Wrecking Ball and then run away because I don't want any part of that fight because I'm at low health. And our Zarya is able to finish up and clean up that fight, and we didn't lose anybody because I was able to put the right burst healing in the right place, hit the dart on the right target, and then not be too aggressive. I ran away. I got around the corner. Our team was able to regroup, go back to the point, funnel our attention at any stragglers that were left, and we stopped the enemy in their tracks again. Charge, instant dart. And then the anti, so he can't get healed by the coalescence. That's a win. That's a win right there. Every single time the Ryan charges, which Ryans are going to do, especially if you're an Orisa, you can bait them in with the Fortify. But an even bigger punish is hitting with that dart, because especially since you hit the follow with the nade, they cannot be healed. And once again, you're punishing their bad move more so than any other character, not just healer, but any other character in the game. Now my team gets a little bit over aggressive. We lose our DPS, we lose the Ryan, and we're going to lose that point. But we saved a lot of time off the clock, and they're going to have a much harder time getting this second point than they did that first one. So with Ana, once again, Moira is really safe at getting up close at the choke here because she can fade away and do a lot of healing and scare off some people. And I'm able to hit the big nade, and that allows our Moira to heal up our Reinhardt much, much faster. And then we can do a little aggression and take off some stragglers and hopefully stagger their spawns, which happens a lot, especially on Volskaya's second point, if you've played with a bad team once or twice, like I have many, many times. But the team gets super uber aggressive here. Like I've said, one of the downfalls of playing Ana, especially if you nano boost a Leroy Jenkins, let's say, they get a little bit too hot-headed. They think they're invincible because, hey, my Ana's kept me up at this point. I'm invincible. Let me charge in there and do whatever I want. They're eventually going to get punished, and that is one of the downfalls of Ana. I nade myself. I get off the point. Unfortunately, we did get closed off by the Mei, but thankfully our Reinhardt was, I think, booped up, so he couldn't get frozen, and we're able to stagger them back and push them back. Not that I needed the ult charge, but if our Moira needed it, she certainly got it. And we didn't lose our DPS either. Well, we didn't lose both of them. And since we're on the defense, the respawn is going to be much heavily in our favor. So if we're going 2 for 1, that's a trade you'll take every single time because you'll get to the point much faster than they will. So a lot of it is just a situational awareness. Thankfully, I wasn't the one that got pinned. Because I wasn't pinned there, I kept myself up. Our Zarya was able to bubble, but we still lost, right? Now they have Transcendence on the points, and our Visor is getting completely nullified, especially with the big ice wall in their way. But our Reinhardt comes back from spawn, he gets the hammer down, so we're able to get a couple of kills off of that Visor, and then that's really all that we needed right there. Or at least it seemed like it. We lost the Reinhardt. This seems like it might be a lost point, but at that juncture, all they had left was their tanks, and then, party's over. If it's just 2 tanks on the point, and especially if it's not in overtime yet, you're going to have a big advantage, especially if they don't have heals and you have anything that's alive, really. So I think Ana enables your team a lot better than a Mercy can in disorganized team, but not just in disorganized teams, but I think Ana is strictly better on defense as your main healer on maps like Hanamura, Graviton, instant nade. They can't transcend that. The only thing they can do is drop that beat in order to protect them from that grav. But if they're not using Lucio, obviously that's not going to happen. And if he doesn't have it, obviously that's not going to happen either. But that should be an instinctual thing, much like hitting the last thing that's alive with the sleep dart, and our Reinhardt's able to push her off and push the entire team back. And at that point, it's just kind of lost for them. They blew their loads and they weren't able to get a lot of real estate off of it. Give them ticks, that's fine. You just don't want to lose the point, especially on such an easy to defend point like Hanamura point 2. Ryan's charging in, once again, that's an instant dart nade, 100% dead Reinhardt every single time. And a Mercy can't do that. A Zen can't do that. A Lucio, a Brigitte cannot do that. And, you know, people aren't used to Ana's acting as healers, and I totally get that. But if you just pretend that you're Mercy with a gun and that you're just here to heal, but you also have the distance to play safely, as you see, I was not on the point there. That was by design. I was not on the point, so I couldn't get ulted and I could heal my team back up. Unfortunately, I do get headshot by the McCree, but our Zarya still has her bubble. She's not within the range of the Hammond, and we're able to finish off that point and get the hold on the second. And once again, Ana was the right character for the job there. Double made healer, I think, is really, really strong, especially right now. And with the new changes to Ana, she's able to heal more and she's able to do more damage by the virtue of her darts going through fully healed people. Therefore, she's going to be getting ultimates a lot sooner. And if she's getting ultimates a lot sooner, then she's able to make one of your teammates almost invulnerable for a brief period of time. And a lot of times, that's all that you need. Keep the Genji blade to do a maximum amount of damage. Keep the Orisa up. Keep the Hog up while you heal him so he doesn't have to use his take a breather or something like that. Nano your Rhine so that he can stall, because that's all that you need. Nano the Winston so that he doesn't have to use his rage, so that he can stall even longer or, you know, get that squishy kill. Ana brings so much to the table, and people aren't used to seeing that on their own teams in matchmaking. But if you play Ana, especially in these places where it's very, very easy to play her very, very safely on defense, and yes, even sometimes offenses, like you saw me do on Rialto there quite briefly. And if you have the instincts where you know when you have to dart, when you have to nade, then you're going to be getting more value out of Ana than Mercy possibly could. And she doesn't have to be as aggressive as Moira. And sometimes most of the times her ults are going to be bigger fight swinging ultimates than Coalescence as well. So her utility is unparalleled. And if you can bring that to the table, the lack of healing that she may have in some situations compared to a Mercy or a Moira will be more than made up for the amount of fights you continually win. So let me know what you guys think about Ana in the meta right now. I was going to make this video anyway, but now that she got buffed, even more spotlight is being thrust upon her. And she is one of the main reasons I went from down in the depths this season in gold to at my highest highs in diamond. I've almost 5 hours with her and a 75% win rate, which is absurd for that amount of time, because I'm A, I'm picking her in the right situations, and B, I'm playing her correctly, which a lot of people are not used to doing. Let me know what you guys thought about this more long-form, in-depth video, if you would like to see more in the future, and I hope you have a good day.